Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game starts.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of BLEAV in Bills podcast. I'm your host, Justice General Radford. That's the coach, legend in 2 games, no Pee-wee, Coach Mookie Hawkins in the building, of course. And we got a special guest in the building tonight, Jeremiah Poyer, my fellow big boy in the building. What's going on, fellas? What's up, Jeremiah? How you doing, bro? Good to have you with us, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Just living life, you know what I mean? Just enjoying every day. It's good to be here, bro.
Absolutely. Appreciate you being here, bro. And, of course, I'm Matt Mookie. How you doing tonight, man? What you up to? You always in some trouble.
Man. Hey. The Bills got the dub. All is well in the city.
Ooh. Don't lie to the people now.
At least, from that standpoint, win, yeah, of course.
Oh, that's true. All right, but
win.
It is all well in the locker room is the question.
Locker room is fine.
Oh, okay, all right.
Locker room is fine.
Now, what about that little section, you know what I'm saying, where all the coaches sit and they congregate and they meet, you know what I mean, and they coordinate specific groups of the team and whatnot?
What are you saying, Justice?
We're gonna get into it.
We're trying to
No, I'm just asking questions. I'm just doing my job, man. All right, we're gonna get into it. We got the Buffalo Bills. They beat the New Jersey Giants 14-9. That was a heart palpitating game. Just a roller coaster ride all the way through. Started off rough, just drop passes, fumbles, unnecessary things, a couple of missed calls to start off the game. It was pretty rough overall, but just looking at, let's start with the offense, right? Because 14 points against one of the worst teams in the league. This is a team that boat raced Miami. Miami is on record to break like every record that has ever existed. And they beat the dog crap out of Miami. So it's just a lot of inconsistency in the way this offense plays, because defense, despite like crazy injuries, are still thriving. So let's start with the offense, Coach. Looking at the offense of that last game, what were some of your observations?
We're going to keep having the same conversation.
Look, they keep doing the same thing. What you want me to do?
It's been 6 weeks, so half and half. The Bills are 50-50 like a raffle right now, all right? Because we keep talking about when they don't run the football, you lose or you're in a dogfight. When the team runs the football, they virtually is unbeatable. It doesn't take that long for you to figure that out. When you look at how the Bills started off the game, 3 straight passes, punt. Again, defense, get them off the field. Bills, 3 straight passes, punt. Defense, get them off the field. Oh, Bills, 3 straight passes. Run the ball, get something going on, fumble. Gabe Davis fumble. Boom. Now, get back on the field. 3 straight passes, off the field. Go to the locker room with no points. This is back-to-back games now that this high-powered offense have not generated any points, not even a damn field goal in 2 games. So you can't blame it on the jet lag in London now. You know what I mean? Unless you brought that fog back to, Buffalo last week, because why is you getting off to a slow start? There's no reason for that. You refuse to run the ball. What you do in the second half? You run the ball. Josh Allen is pretty much flawless throwing the ball. You score twice. Defense makes plays, close it out. Why go through all that? You could have did that in the first half and dominated the game, and we would have saw Kyle Allen in the game when we were supposed to, when it's just about over, instead of him in the middle of the game. Because we got, yeah, okay, all right, we got a quick flash of what that would look like if Josh do go down. we got a we got a flash of everything that game. That's what Dable told us. So I'm gonna leave it at there for now. So
That's interesting. It's interesting that you brought that up, the London game, because I looked at a stat for the last 11 teams that have came back from London, they were down at halftime.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure when in the game that they came back from. So I'm not sure if there was some jet lag. I haven't even thought about that. So it could have been that they had a little bit of jet lag coming back from London. Um, Dorsey's Dorsey's play calling is a little interesting sometimes. But I do like that when they get into that flow of getting under center and letting Cook roll and then play action passes off of it. I'm not sure if they're trying to sprinkle in some basic stuff now to like just be a base team going. Like it's similar to like the Eagles and the Chiefs. They've been struggling offensively,
Mhm.
and I look at it and I'm like, okay, are they struggling offensively because they're really trying to be basic early on to just try to get through these games and win some ugly games and then start opening up the playbook come November, December time period, which it could be smart, could be a thing that Dorsey's trying to do, something he stole. I would like for us to not be that close in games, which we shouldn't have. 2 field goals missed. Gabe fumbling was a good punch out. I really can't like that was a good punch out. He punched his face mask first, but it was a good punch out.
Mhm.
There's just little things where like even if you play bad, we still could have won that game 20-9, 24-9. Like,
Mhm.
and those are the little things that we have to do going forward. I'm not once Ken. I'm just hoping that Ken opens up the playbook at some point. I think that this offense will be going.
I agree with
Now, I want to point something out because last season we started off this season again boat racing people. It was like this might be the best offense ever. Everybody looks good, and then at halftime of the Packers game, they just started to go into like a downward spiral where they weren't as consistent as they were before. They were messing up. It was just unforced error after unforced error, penalty, turnover. It was just like all of this, and it kind of feels like deja vu because we're starting to see that again, especially after last week in Jacksonville. They're playing against a team who, I mean, you could say the Jacksonville Jaguars are a good team or that they're on the come up or whatever the case may be, but they hadn't been showing that this season up to that point. And then you that's a game that you really should have won. Jacksonville gave you every opportunity in the world to win that game. Trevor Lawrence fumbled twice in his own red zone, or in our red zone. So it's like the defense did almost everything they could to win that game. Weren't able to get it done because the offense wasn't able to get going early. This game, Tyrod Taylor played about as well as you could expect from a backup, and then they defense still only allowed them to have 9 points. We should have seen Kyle Allen by the third quarter in this game. And, it's just, again, starting to look like we're starting to see that inconsistency a little less than halfway through the season. Is that something that we should be concerned about?
I personally, when I look back at the losses that we've had and the close games that we've had, we generally it's games where the offense doesn't have the ball for many possessions where our defense is giving up long drives and then making a stop. So like I'm gonna assume that when our defense is getting 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, that's when our offense is putting up 40s. And I'm gonna assume that we just have to get going. Josh and the offense have to get going early in games better than they have been. I don't know if it's a concern yet because I do think that at some point these blunders that the offense are having to fumble are taken away from long drives that they have because we're able to put long drives together offensively. And those games where we're giving up long drives and our offense is taking long drives, it's just like it takes away from the amount of possessions our offense is getting. So I think that we're just still trying to find an identity as a football team, and we just don't have it yet. And it's going to start with Ken Dorsey and how he's calling the offense, because our defense is kind of standing pat right now at giving up long drives, turning the ball over, and whatnot. So I'm not panicking yet.
All right.
Speaking of that, I think it's clip time. That's like a
I was
perfect segue.
just about to say you said the key word, buddy. My man Jeremiah mentioning Ken Dorsey. So, oh wait, Coach, let us know how you felt about the offense before I put that.
It's just not running the football. I mean, why are we trying to, nickname what it is, and why in 2 years this team don't have an identity? With the weapons that they have, why we don't have an identity? To me, the times is they're all over the place. The Bills' bread and butter play is a scramble drill. What you see is what you get offensively. Is no element of surprise. So it's lack of creativity in clutch situations. Only thing that's got better is that now you are able to find Diggs in those clutch situations, and is what helps win in the pass game too. Just imagine. I mean, and they doubled him yesterday, so that let me know that they at least was a little bit more creative in moving him around, getting the balls in his hands. At least you got to go with your dogs in dog fights. You know what I mean? Go with your dogs in dog fights. So I'm not mad at the production, the targets. It is what it is at this point. You got to do what you got to do to win the game. But you shouldn't be that way when, if you didn't to start the game off. Like, get Josh in the rhythm with being under center, doing play action, and letting him work his progressions that way. Teams are just going to back off and allow their 4 to rush and 7 in coverage. Nobody's going to be open. Some of the design runs are in question. If you go back to the scramble drill touchdown, nobody's running around over the middle. You got Gabe Davis doing a vertical with Steph doing an out to the field side, with Knox going in motion and Quint Morris running a stop route. Nobody's over the middle. They man coverage. Nobody's running around over the middle. That's why Josh had to go full progression from right all the way to left. Nobody's open. He got to scramble to his right and anticipate. He anticipated the shit out of Quentin Morris being where he's supposed to have been, and bam.
Let me ask you something. Can I ask you something, Mookie? So you said you're not mad at the targets to Diggs. I would prefer those targets come in the second half when things are not working in the first half. But he had 11 targets in the first half, which is crazy. And would you prefer them to open up the playbook earlier as far as targeting other people and then come to Diggs late if things are not working?
And that's a concern, because now you do have to get everybody involved that way. I mean, why that's not happening? Where's the setup playoff Diggs eating this way where it benefits Gabe Davis? Or why you have a 2 tight end setup in the middle of the field or nobody's even running a route? Why is the middle of the field not being occupied? Why we don't have a screen? Why your quarterback is the most accurate on the run and you have no design rollouts for this guy? Like, it's a lot of things in question, when it comes to the creativity with the talent you have. If the Bills don't make plays, they're going to be in a dogfight. I could say a few times, okay, damn, that was a nice ass play. The touchdown to Hardy, damn, that was a nice play, bam. But we just calling plays. You didn't go back to that same set just to run it, just to see how they gonna handle that. Like, what are we calling? Like,
yeah, that's what I like about Daboll. Is he really set up? He'll set up a play you run in a week now by running it a couple of times out of different formations. And so, like, I would like to see a lot more set up plays from Dorsey, absolutely.
I'll say for me personally, I don't mind them going to Diggs. Like, I really don't. Like, if you can get Diggs involved, that's your best player outside of Josh Allen. If you can get him involved early, then go ahead, do it. If that guy is open, let him make a play on. I really don't mind that. Like, I don't think any Eagles fan would be upset if AJ Brown just got hot in the first half. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Diggs is that type of player where he can take over the game, where if Gabe is fumbling or, people are dropping passes, whatever the case may be, where you can't quite get your offense really seemed like missing Kincaid hurt. I don't know how much coincidence that has, but I don't mind getting Diggs hot. If there is a guy I want getting hot, it is Stephon Diggs. So just to answer your question about that, but as far as the running, to me, it really pissed me off every time I saw Josh in the shotgun, and then he just handed it off to the guy next door. That really took. And then we did that at the 1 yard line. My blood was boiling. It's like, why are you? And it's just like he kept doing the same play, and it was like, bro, what are you expecting to happen right now? And it got really, really upsetting. But before we move on, let's go ahead and get into these clips here.
Coach Dorsey, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports Cincinnati. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, Coach, just to go back off of what Josh was saying about just having that familiarity with Coach Daboll, obviously, he, going to get your former coordinator who's now a head coach. And again, y'all do know a lot of each other, especially in situations. So, like, if you had to choose, which play would you rather have back yesterday?
I think when you look back at it, obviously, there's always some things that, you say, shoot, I wish, we had done that a little bit differently. I think, a couple of there's a couple plays in there where, you think about that. Obviously, the run down the low red zone there, and from a execution standpoint, just taking the ball off the goal line, is that something, something that we'll that's something we'll look at. Again, making sure that, hey, are we doing the right things there? And again, I think that looking back at it, I wish we had done something different. But again, that's a run we've executed well in the past too. So at the end of the day, when I go back and I look at the game, there's a lot of things in that game that did not end up panning out. But in this league, that stuff happens because defenses are good. That's stuff that you go into the game and you feel really good about. But unfortunately, whether it's from an execution piece or from a, hey, they made a play piece, you've got to evaluate that. So, when I go back and look at it, I think, there's definite some things that you look at and you say, I like the play, but maybe not in this situation, or I like something else here.
Combo there,
off the goal line, which is basically what I was talking about. How did you feel about what he said, Jeremiah?
I don't mind going out of. Josh hasn't shown to be very good at executing quarterback sneaks. And so I don't mind going out of a pistol or a shotgun formation, but there has to be options off of it. This can't be a turnaround and hand the ball off to Latavius Murray in the red zone type of thing, in my opinion. You have to have a quarterback read option. You have to have where's our a throwing option, our QBR throwing option off of that. Like that was with Cole Beasley when they ran that. Why can't we implement Deontay Hardy in that same thing? Even Diggs. You know what I mean? Like there just has to be options in the red zone. Chiefs are amazing in the red zone because they have 4 different play calls where they bring in Kelsey to the quarterback. He can run it. He can come in and take a quarterback sneak. Like it's just imagination. And I'm not seeing much imagination in the red zone from Dorsey sometimes. Granted, we have been all right in the red zone this year in comparison to last year. But there's just times like that where I'd rather see play calls with a lot of different options and not just turn around and hand the ball off to Latavius Murray.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he, in so many words, he was really leaning towards that play as the one he would like to have back. Right. But, I mean, the Bills still end up scoring on that drive. But, sometimes, man, you just got to just get under center, get you a fullback and Latavius Murray, the tight end, 2 wide receivers, or 2 tight ends and 1 wide receiver, and just play smash mouth football for a damn yard, man. This is not that hard. Run behind Osiris and your 6'9" right tackle with your tight end, Gilliam and Latavius Murray. You mean to tell me we can't get a yard right there? Man, that's a problem. Like, why are we going to make it so damn difficult other than that?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get into the second clip.
Absolutely, Coach. We know those are trials and tribulations when you're at war with, such a familiar foe, man. So those are some battles, and definitely are some battles. You got things going in the second half, and a few players were saying in the locker room how, getting away from the run in the first half, but going back to the run in the second half kind of got things back on track and it opened things up. Obviously, Josh was, 11 for 12, with 2 scores, and, the run game basically kept the sticks moving. Can you say that having that type of balance can be the new identity of this offense?
Well, I think we're always trying to strike that balance to make sure we're attacking a defense the best way possible. So obviously, look, at the end of the day, we do have a lot of faith and we do believe in our run game, and it's the same thing in the pass game, and I think both can complement each other extremely well. And I think you've seen that throughout the year, hopefully, and I thought yesterday was no different. I thought we got in a great groove in the first half on some drives running the football, and then some play actions off of that. So, I think it's something that we just got to continue to strike that balance of being able to be multiple and being able to attack a defense in different ways so that we're not predictable of, we're always running the ball in these situations or throwing the ball in these situations. And otherwise a defense can get a beat on you. So, yeah, for sure. I think that balance and that ability to strike that balance of run and pass is something that we'll always continue to strive for.
Respect your time, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Shout out to our guy Mookie for those great questions. Now, for me, I can just say this. I look at the offense and I see way too many times where it seems like Josh's first read isn't an option. It isn't there. And then he kind of has to extend the play, or second or third, whatever the case may be. Then he has to extend the play. And then he makes a amazing play because he can scramble out of the pocket and throw downfield or whatever the case may be. But I don't see a ton of those plays where it's like the play that's called is the play that's run. That's the play that's executed, and that play picks us up like a lot of yardage. I don't feel like I see that enough to the point where like I'm comfortable with what's being called on the field. What say you, Coach?
I mean, the numbers don't lie, man. And the 3 wins that the Bills had, they had unbelievable balance, and they look unbeatable. In the games when they don't have balance and they just want to be on a throw the ball shit, in dogfight. It's nothing else to even look at. Like James Cook, when week 3 was a top runner and was top 3 rushing in the NFL. What are we talking about? They had 29 yards in London. 29 yards in London.
He had -4 yards.
Right, and he had -4. But combined, they had 29 yards, and they still had a chance to win the game multiple times. Multiple times. What happened? They got back in the game running the football. It's just a no-brainer at this point. Running the football. Now, play action gives Josh a full progression on where he should be going with this football. Based upon the coverage that he's going to get running the football. Like you said, if his first read ain't there, the second read is probably something that they schemed on tape. So that's not going to be there. Josh is forced to, be Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? And again, they're making plays. If they're not making plays, they're going to be in a dogfight. It's not like, damn, he just dialing that shit up. Like, boom, 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 walk down the field and hit you with the home run joint. Like, we ain't seen that in a minute. You know what I mean? In sequence. We ain't seen it in sequence. I mean, you might catch a bomb here and there. You know what I mean? That I guess that would count. But balance-wise, and just to, to come with that setup where guys just, damn, he is so wide open. Like, you know what I mean? Film study execution.
I will say this. I will say this about the offense, though. Like, okay, so on 5 of the drives, Gabe's fumble could have ended in 3 points. Mm-hmm. We missed 2 field goals. That's 2 3-points right there. We punted when the field goal would have been a 55-yard field goal, when we generally trust backs to make that. That's 4 possessions where you get 12 points right there. And right now we're looking at 26-9 yet. And we're not talking about this offense right now. We're like, okay, we scored 26 points and we won 26-9, dominating game. Like, we wouldn't be even having this conversation. So, like, there's a lot of like little things in there that we need to start getting points on these drives, and it'll make it look like a completely different game. So it's ugly. It is ugly, and it made it look even more ugly that our special teams was not hitting. And so I'm not going to put it all on the offense. Like, our special teams need to start making these field goals, and Gabe can't fumble right there, even though it's a good punch out. There's just little things that can make these close games that look ugly be a little bit more dominant than it looked like.
Offense need to execute a little bit more so we can get well in range rather than, oh, let's take a shot. I mean, he was 1 for 8 before the game even started. I think they had at 53. So that's why they were skeptical on going about doing it. And now we see why. Probably his worst performance he's had as a Bill, So, at the end of the day, run the football, get as close as you can. It was 3rd and 10. Like, Bills are super predictable in them situations. So like they can't afford to be in them situations like that. And that's why they're getting off the field. The defense balling their ass off. But if I didn't stop you, they played 90 snaps, bro. That's unheard of.
The defense or offense?
The defense played 90 snaps in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
That
game was a little worse than this one in my opinion. Like, even though they scored more, I think the offense this weekend was better than the offense.
No, I agree. We moved the ball this weekend. It was just stupid mistakes. So.
But I gotta have balance, though. I'm tired of just being one-dimensional, self-inflicted. Give you some balance. You're gonna need balance, or we're gonna have the same conversation when the Bills get their ass kicked in the first round of the playoffs again because of the same thing that we're seeing right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, if it would have been 26-9, I'd still be saying the same thing. Why are we not running the ball? Why are we making an excuse on why we can't get rhythm? Why is this high-powered offense not scoring at halftime, back-to-back weeks? Hey, we about to nickname this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. If a frog had a glass ass, what would happen every time you jump? At this point in week 6, on the team with the expectations to have, go to the Super Bowl, that's unacceptable. That's all I'm saying. You could be better.
You could absolutely. But I think Eagles and the Chiefs both, like, if we're looking at the teams that we think could make the Super Bowl, the Niners this weekend, Eagles and Chiefs this weekend, like, these good teams are going to get their best shots of everybody that comes. Mm-hmm. And when you're not on your A game, which the offense was not on their A game, it's going to be dogfights. And so I don't think that when I look at the grand spectrum of what's going on with our team, I don't think that it's unacceptable to have these performances. But what pisses me off is you have to win the Jacksonville games. You have to find a way to win this game. And you have to find a way to win the Jets game. Like, those are games that, like, even though it's ugly, I'm good with ugly. But you have to win them. It's okay. You have to win those games. And, like, and obviously we can nitpick, and rightfully so. Dorsey's got to be better. Josh got to be better. Defense still got to get off the field a little bit faster on some of these drives. Like, we can nitpick and we're going to be able to all year. But we just got to find a way to win some of these games. 1 and 2 in these games is not good enough.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
I think 2 things can be true. I think there's a lot of truth to what both of you said. I didn't think it from the perspective that you said, Jeremiah, about missing 2 field goals, and then also the Gabe fumble, which would have been a field goal. I think you look at the game from that perspective, and if we have those points on the board, I feel like there's a different energy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we're not like, oh my God, everything is going against us, and kind of, you know what I'm saying, letting that manifest. I think it's a different ball game if those things don't happen. So I will, stop being so hard. But I also do think agree with Coach that you got to be better, especially if you want to win a Super Bowl in this league. You got to be better. You got to play the 1 and 4 teams way better than what you played versus the New York Giants. But before we get up out of here, let's go ahead and give some love to the defense. 9 points versus, I really feel like Tyrod Taylor played better than Daniel Jones could have hoped to play, if I'm being completely honest. Didn't turn the ball over, didn't have a touchdown, but we've seen better quarterbacks play worse versus this defense. AJ Epinesa continues to look good. Got himself another sack yesterday or on Sunday. Leonard Floyd, again, two guys who have come into this season with question marks around them, right? People were saying, is it going to be AJ Epinesa or is it going to be Boogie that gets traded in preseason? Of course, we've seen Boogie get traded. AJ Epinesa has come in and shown why they didn't let him go, because he looks like a man possessed these last couple of weeks here. And Leonard Floyd has been going at it from the jump. So taking a look at this defense, taking a look at all the injuries they've had to show the resiliency to still be, top 3 defense in this league. Like, how special was that performance?
I'm a big fan of the way McDermott calls his defenses. I think that it's more aggressive than the way Leslie did it, even though I love Leslie. I think that Leslie called the defense fine for he was just a little bit less aggressive. But I do like the way McDermott's calling these defenses. There's a couple plays out there where because of that aggression, you're getting a one-on-one in the slot with a cover one. Where the slot's running. That was the same play, right? That they ran that fade out of the slot, and Tyrod has a great D ball, a great fade ball. So I don't think that. I think we would have made Daniel Jones look a lot worse, but I do think that Daniel Jones has played well with Saquon in the lineup, and I can't Tyrod's the perfect quarterback to play against his defense because he's not going to throw you any mistakes. He's going to throw it out of bounds if he has to. He's going to escape sacks most of the time. Like, Tyrod's a good quarterback to play against his defense, which makes it look better. We would have made Daniel Jones look worse than what he actually is, because he's going to take some shots and we're going to capitalize on them. So I can't
Tyrod
say
took some shots, bro.
The shots
Tyrod
were one-on-one
launching it all over the field.
The shots were one-on-one fade balls, and he throws a beautiful fade ball. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he doesn't take shots, but he takes shots where it's never getting picked. That ball's never, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to take any 50-50 balls, really. He's going to just throw you open, and if you're there, you're there. If you're not, it's going to be a complete pass.
Tyrod don't throw no passes over the middle at all. Like, if you notice that, because he can't see over the middle. He's too short. That's how team scheme for him when he was playing quarterback here in Buffalo. If you notice, all the Tyrods was definitely to, the outside. It was nothing really over the middle because he couldn't see.
Which takes away from Jordan's game, because those are the balls that he picks, and that's why I like it. It frustrates me seeing him play against these quarterbacks and that just won't throw him. Like Zach Wilson's not going to throw him a ball, or Micah, and some of these quarterbacks, I feel like the coaches are telling them, we're just not going to throw at the safeties. We're going to throw anywhere else. Go ahead and throw. You know what I mean? And that could be my bias, but it's frustrating not seeing Jordan get his hand on the ball because the quarterbacks just don't want to take a shot.
Well, when you are a pro, man, that's disrespect. Man. We can't even go over there.
I think that's pretty safe to say. They say stay away from 21 and 23. You'd be stupid not to say that. But what about you, Coach? Talk about this defense a little bit and how special they're playing.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like how McDermott is dialing it up. He dialed it up kind of late this game, kind of similar to what they did in Jacksonville. I think that sometimes you need to, dial it up a little bit more early, or mix it up a little bit. But other than that, I think they adjusted well to how, how the Giants adjusted in the run game, running, trap off tackle, in that second half. And, and somebody asked me, was it McDermott making that adjustment on blitzing, or was it Terrell Bernard? And I was like, that was just more, I think, Terrell Bernard having play recognition, understanding how he needs to handle that situation. At first he was waiting, and Waller was coming, around, the trapping, and he would wait and try to take an outside approach and run into Waller. But I think he recognized it to the point where he just shot that gap, and that's what he was supposed to do. And he shot it, and every time he shot it, that was tackles for loss, a big situation. So I think it was more of Terrell Bernard having play recognition and him just playing his natural way of getting through there and making a play. But yeah, I love the physicality. I love the biggest question is now Von Miller is throwing back in his sauce. So how this rotation is really going to shake out, especially in the pass rush situation. If you only sending 4, who's going to be that 4? somebody on a trade block over here, or man, like I'm a little nervous. You know, I'm hearing things about Ebenezer being moved. I'm a little nervous.
Why would Ebenezer be moved?
Because man, his stock is up, and if he gets a sack every game, he's going to have about 60 sacks on the season. Contract year, buddy. You know, he's going to outprice himself here. He's going to outprice himself here. You know, and it's a shame because he want to stay here.
Is this the last year of his contract?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would assume that'd be like towards, and I like AJ, and if they're gonna move him, it'd have to be right. Like let him get going and like let him go crazy over the next few weeks, and then. But I don't want to move up unless I like our 4-man. Leonard Floyd's got 6.5. Like Vaughn's coming back, and like I would rather like let's give Vaughn less of a snap count and let these boys like run, and then when we get to the playoffs, like Vaughn will be good to go. Like that's my
just throw a few dollars at Ebenezer, man, Locky, man.
Word.
Right now though.
Right now, do it. Yeah,
right man, like man, here take
2-year extension,
16 million, 2 years, 16 million, real quick, fully guaranteed. You know, Vaughn to get up out of here, you take over, you good.
Yeah.
Plus, like I don't see Vaughn playing. I don't see Vaughn playing a lot later than this year. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, he got this year. He got one more year left under as far as guaranteed money.
They win it this year. He's going, in my opinion.
Nah, he going. Yeah.
You think he'll play again if they win?
You gotta get that guaranteed bread. Yeah, you got the contract.
You
gotta redeem yourself.
Billionaire.
Yeah, but right now he's a situational pass rusher. That's all I would have him as.
Yeah.
You know, until playoffs, then I'm gonna let him loose.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's getting back to form. He was close a few times. You know, a few times.
So get that bend back.
I think you can move Groot into the 3-tech on some second and longs a lot more, like, and just have Leonard and AJ and Vaughn. Like sometimes you might have a NASCAR group out there with Groot at the nose and Leonard move him in, or Vaughn or whatever, he can move on around. That's some crazy package.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. What about Jordan Phillips though, bro? What if Jordan Phillips and Groot with Vaughn and Floyd?
Yeah,
and the quarterback stepping up to Groot and Jordan Phillips. Right?
Yeah. And then Ed, you can sprinkle in that nose too on some of these like there's just a lot you could do with this D line right now. Like, and so
we ain't even mentioned Shaq. We ain't mentioned Shaq. We ain't mentioned AJ. You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous.
There's a lot of talent there on the line.
Shadow. Yeah. Puna.
It's a great D line to have for sure.
For sure, especially after considering what we had a couple years ago when we was all complaining about these dudes, and for them to be so dominant now is a crazy turnaround. But all right, fellas, let's go ahead and get into our final thoughts. So Jeremiah, this is basically where you can just talk about whatever you want, whatever is on your mind. Just let the people know. So we'll let you go ahead and go first.
There's something I want to say about these fights that have been happening in the stands at other stadiums, not in Buffalo, but other stadiums. Like, bro, it is not that serious. These games are not like, I love football and I'm passionate about football, but these games are not that serious to be going to jail, to be having people die. There was a dude that died in New England at that game. Like, that was something that I wanted to bring up in any podcast or any interview I've been on. Like, we gotta stop. Like, we gotta be better than that at some of these games. And then other than that, we're about to go smack the Patriots this week. It's gonna be crazy. It's probably gonna be like a 50 game for us, 50 ball. I see us dropping this week. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this week.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean, when you ain't scored and 2 goose eggs at halftime and you a high-powered offense, I'm quite sure it's going to be a fire lit, in this offense to come out all guns a-blazing versus, no other than the New England Patriots. So it's perfect timing for the offense to be a little bit pissed off, So it's perfect timing for that, So we'll see, because interesting is Bill Belichick is good at taking your best player away. I know he's looking at Stephon Diggs, 16 targets, 10 catches. If we cut that in half and play mimic, never know with Bill Belichick. That's going to be the interesting scenario. What is this going to be his strategy to try to take Stephon Diggs away? And what
for 160?
Right, and what's Dorsey's counter adjustment from that? Stay tuned.
We won't see. Short week, boys. Thursday night in Foxborough, the Buffalo Bills will take on the New England Patriots, a former rival. Now they kind of buns. I know my man Jeremiah talking about a 50 piece, and that would be really, really nice. But honestly, after this week, I have no idea what the hell is going to happen on a week-to-week basis. We could blow them out by 72 points, or it could be a 3-point game. This team is just kind of all over the place. And I don't really know what the reasoning for anything is, but either way.
Run the football. Last time they played New England when Jay-Z was there, they ran the football. They dominated the game. Same rule applies.
50 ball.
Do you believe? Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Now, find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Bet Online continues to be the top online resource for all sports information, from live in-game betting props and futures. Head to Bet Online today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Now, use our promo code BLEAV50 to receive your 50%. Welcome your bonus on your first deposit. Now, Bet Online is where the game